So The Flood, which is a drama about the refugee crisis, the title sort of obliquely referring to a dismissive term for the displaced people trying to cross borders, but also giving it a kind of slightly almost biblical sort of apocalyptic, people in the wilderness sort of sense. Written by Helen, Kingston, directed by Anthony Woodley. Lena Headey stars as Wendy, who's an immigration officer who has the reputation of processing and pretty much rejecting applications very swiftly. Ian Glenn is her boss, who wants her to deal with a particularly tricky case that they've got. He's getting political pressure. He wants it wrapped up. Ivano Jeremiah is a migrant from Eritrea, a refugee from Eritrea, who we first meet bursting out of the back of a lorry and assaulting a police officer and then being taken into custody. We then see his story told in flashback. The sea trips and the appalling circumstances, the near drownings, the comradeship of travel and the hardship of travel, the life and death reality of it, life in the jungle, and the appalling price of transit.
How does it work? The crossing?
There is a lorry park 1 kilometer away from here. You go to the lorry, I tell you, 2 a.m. this night. If your money is good, the lorry will be open.
How do I know you not just take my money and do nothing?
If I was a thief, I would tell my friend in the kitchen to cut your throat, and I would keep your money. No. What I offer is civilized service. But it is complicated. The right lorry, the right driver, the right time. Complications. And complication means...
Costs.
3,000 euros for this.
Is there a guarantee that the lorry will get across the border?
The lorries always go through.
No repeat business for you then.
Don't worry. More people arrive here every day. And they all need my help. There is a lot of money to be made. If you stay here 1 month, 2 months, maybe you will see.
I have to get to England.
England will not want you.
I've always been unwanted.
Now, it's no surprise that what will happen during the course of the drama is that this case will get under Wendy's skin. She has problems of her own, a divorce, estrangement from her child, an alcohol problem. But the film tonally reminded me of that film Journey of Hope from 1990, which I think won the Oscar. It was nominated, I think it won, for Best Foreign Language Film, which was about a Turkish family making the journey to Switzerland. And the whole point of that drama, there's very, very different circumstances, but the point of that drama was it was trying to see a story that had been told from one side, from another side. And I think that film managed to do that in a very emotive and powerful way. And I think this actually does the same thing. There are inevitably some, neat, dramatic contrivances, but it's a story of somebody seeing one side of a story who then realizes that actually there is more in common that they have with somebody on the other side of that story. And it's a fairly straightforward dramatic device of making people who have been othered, making them, understandable and personal and recognizable as part of, of the same world that we are living in, and breaking down those barriers between them and us as seen through the eyes of somebody whose job it is to establish that there are differences and that they are not the same, and that, and that they are they rather than us, which is a kind of, long-winded way of saying that what the movie does is it presents you with a character who is hardened and apparently sealed off, and during the course of the drama, she changes, and we see that story, and we also see in very sort of realistic terms, the horror and the hardship of that journey, of that plight, of the staggering number of displaced people and the challenges that they are having to face. I thought it was pretty good, and it's called The Flood.